Truth telling is the bedrock of good journalism. Straight from the heart on Sky 107.1 is that platform you can rely on for credible, undiluted, and unbiased analysis. It is thought provoking. It speaks nothing but the truth to whoever is involved. Our presenters remain impartial and are only interested in truth telling. The program comes 7 to 9 o'clock in the morning. Let's and build Mama Liberia for good. Truth telling is the bedrock of good journalism. Straight from the heart on Sky 107.1 is that platform you can rely on for credible, undiluted, and unbiased analysis. It is thought provoking. It speaks nothing but the truth to whoever is.
Wake up, Mama Liberia. Wake up, Mama Liberia. Wake up, Mama Liberia. Wake up, Mama Liberia. Liberia, oh Liberia, oh Liberia, wake up. Liberia, oh Liberia, oh Liberia, wake up. Liberia, oh Liberia, oh Liberia, wake up in a pray. Oh, Liberia, wake up, oh, wake up and do something. Oh, Liberia, try to settle things the way we used to be. You know, it's all we need in our love and control. Mama, Liberia. Wake up, my people. Can't you hear the song? Can't you see the shining sun? We've been sleeping so long.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and a pleasant welcome to another interesting edition of the program, Straight from the Heart on Sky 107.1. This is the weekend's edition of the program, by the way. My name is Matthias Labindi. Today is the 23rd day of July 2021, and welcome on today's edition of the program. At 8 o'clock, we're going to be speaking with the friends of Markia Tipperson in District 14. Like I said, I am from the slum, and a lover of young people, most especially those ones who are involved into positive things, promote what they do so that we all can rewrite our stories individually. So yes, Markia Tipperson is one of the young men from Joe community who has made us very proud as a district and so as young people in that area. So yes, his friends, his group, friends of Markia Tipperson, a group that he did not found himself, but some young people, because of the fact that he's a young man and very creative and productive as well, they talk to fund that group to ensure that they promote Markia Tipperson's political and even social activities, social in terms of reaching out, humanitarian activities, and so. So they're going to be telling us this morning about some gifts that the Friends of Markia Tipperson has, for some elderly people in that particular district. But before that, right now we're not gonna be taking a break, right? We're not going to be taking a break. We're going to just go straight into the discussion. We apologize for coming on a bit late this morning. This is a wet season. We are in the rainy season now, and it gets really difficult for those of us who do not have access to vehicles, to make our ways to our various destinations on time. And I know many of you will agree with me that you too experience that daily. So yes, is a serious situation. We'll have a number of things to talk about. Just briefly, we're just going to touch a few things, but our main discussion this morning, something that's really dear to my heart that I would encourage all of you parents out there to condemn, is the act of a man who goes by the name Ambassador Jake Brown, who lives in district number 17. Jake Brown, by the way, I'm told he works with the National Security Agency. Jake Brown is the man who, posted he goes by the name Ambassador Joseph Jake Brown. So he posted a video of an adult having an affair, love affair with a minor. If you look at the video, I know many of you have watched that video. If you see it, you can just look at the kid's face and deduce that this kid is somewhere around maybe 8, 9, 10 years, thereabout. But just quickly, the newly inducted head of the Commissioner of the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, Councillor Edwin Martin, has declared corruption vampire and cancer that's eating the fabrics of the society of Liberia. So we've heard that before, right? From a leader here, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf described corruption as vampire and so on. It sounds a bit contradictory because President George Weah himself knows that we are all connected, so it's difficult for us to defeat corruption. Yes, somehow. So, but anyway, what people look forward to seeing is Edwin Martin executing his responsibility. One of his major decisions, one of his major action he took yesterday was to arrest the head of the National Transit Authority after a protest staged by employees of that institution on grounds that Mr. Habib Macaulay is mismanaging the institution and diverting resources to his personal use and so on. Mr. Martin, he's currently undergoing investigation. So let's see what the outcome of that investigation is going to be. But that action, to many people, is something that's very laudable on the part of the fight against the fight against corruption in the country. So yes, that's a good one. Let's see what the outcome is going to be like. But meanwhile, the Labor Ministry described the protest by protesters of the employees of the National Transit Authority as illegal because they did not reach out to the Ministry of Labor to inform them about their planned protest. But some results that thereby leading to the arrest director of the NTA. I told you that Wilhelmina Jala would have fallen in trouble with the lawmakers because I said here sometime this week that the fact that they've rejected the money, $7,500 from Darius Dillon, her assertion that this money, with not getting a clear explanation about this money is a controversial money, that alone painted, there is a blanket statement which paints a negative image of the legislature that they apportion certain money to themselves, that they know that the money is illegal and all of that. So it's an indictment of all of the lawmakers. So she's being invited to appear next Tuesday to explain. That's right after 26. By the time, imagine the madam gets through celebrating her 26, the next thing she's going to be thinking about how she's going to be in there explaining about the Madagascar herbs that we spent $71,500. So till now, we still cannot get a proper understanding why that money was used to bring in, some liquid that we did not use. And the LMHRA boss is on record. She was here. She said she did not give authorization for that thing to be used because it did not meet the World Health Organization standard. A lot of things to talk about. The plate is loaded. Let's go back to this development. It's very important. All right. So the video cannot be screened now. You can't show it because it's not something that the reason why Mr. Jake Brown himself deleted the video. By the way, I just want the producers to put Mr. Brown's photo there on the screen so people can see him. Well, is it a personal attack? No, it isn't a personal attack. Mr. Brown is a person of interest. Mr. Ambassador Joseph Jake Brown is a person of interest. What makes him a person of interest? Mr. Ambassador Joseph Jake Brown should muster the courage to be a father, to be a leader, and expose the man who is seen in that video abusing a minor. Now, here is what Jake Brown said in the video. He thought he was smart, that by the time people started lashing at him on social media, he brought down his entire page, that people will not even get his photo. They're not even going to get him to know him better. But there you have it. There is Mr. Jake Brown's photo there on the screen. Those of you who are following us live on Facebook, on Sky FM, Sky Communications Liberia Facebook page, also on YouTube if you're following us on Sky, video of a man, you can see that this man in this video who remove his pen, remove his penis from his trousers, put it in the mouth of a minor around the age, believed to be around the age 10 or below there. You know, it's a man, it's a full-grown man. And this man, from what Mr. Brown wrote on the video before posting it, Mr. Brown wrote this thing. It says, since this is the medicine that gave you the position, I swear, I, Jake Brown, will expose you. I, Jake Brown, will expose you. This is something he wrote on the screen of the video. Then the caption, he said, see nonsense. Trust me, one more word, I will release your face. All right. Deductive reasoning. This is what I'm going to put in context now. One more word. He posted and says, see nonsense. One more word, I will release your face. So he posted a video of a man whose face is not seen. You know, whose face is not seen in the video. Seen, and this kid is being abused by this adult. All right. Now, first of all, this is an act of insanity on the part of Mr. Brown, Jake Brown. From the look of things, Mr. Brown may have been right there seated and watching this kid being abused. Something may have happened between the two of them, Jake Brown and this unknown fellow who was seeing in the video abusing, molesting a minor. Maybe these two people have something in common. The information is that Jake Brown is also a pedophile. I'm going to explain what a pedophile is for, you know, some other members of my audience. So Jake Brown is believed, according to the information, is speculated that he's a pedophile. Jake Brown, by the way, lives in Broadview. By the time you pass by the Broadview store, he lives right before reaching Wanwunsu. He's the man who built the house in the form of shape. All right. The house is not always painted. It's the same. And in the photo you're looking at on the screen, he's standing right before his house in Broadview. Jake Brown is a retired U.S. Marine. Jake Brown is a man in 2016. I remember while I was still working with Red Power in Redhill, Jake Brown stood out. He said he wanted to become mayor of Broadview. Is it Broadview? Some one of the townships in there, right? So he wanted to become mayor. That was the time many people described Jake Brown as a man who probably is experiencing dementia. So Jake Brown stood out. He said he wanted to become a mayor, something like that in the Broadview area. All right. So when the tension mounted, he was invited. Since some of his supporters came from other places, either Artington or Clay Ashland, one of these areas. I know somebody from Broadview we called in later and provide us the information. What happened? What did not happen? One day, while the tension was being mounted, and people were asking, some were describing him as a man who is mentally ill and all of that, and so and that. With all these things, Jake Brown said, in fact, he didn't want to be a mayor anymore. It was the people, his people, that were forcing him to be. He said, mayor at the Bomi County. Folks, I beg you, if you're there in Broadview, you know Jake Brown, you know the story, you know how he backpedaled on, you know, an interest he expressed sometime in 2015, 2016, thereabout. And he backpedaled on it when, you know, just because he couldn't stand serious political tension. And a lot of people say, but this guy is half crazy. He's not an ambassador. Ambassador of what? Of molestation? God forgive me for calling him ambassador. He lacks it. Ambassador of molestation? He's Joseph Jake Brown. All right. Joseph Jake Brown, the information is that he works with the National Security Agency. And he's a U.S. spy, according to the information. Do we have spies in the country from the U.S.? Or maybe that is inappropriate. Or CID or CIA, something like that. Maybe that's more appropriate. Not spy. Okay. So Jake Brown works with the National Security Agency. This guy posted this video in his right mind. From the thing that he said about the video, one more word from you, knowing that in his person as Jake Brown, knowing that this particular video is damaging to the man who is seen molesting this kid. So he thought to use the video as a bait. He thought to use the video to ensure that he suppresses this guy. He silenced this guy and just keep him quiet from saying whatever thing that he termed as one more word from you, I will release your face. So, meaning you owe me one, I owe you two. I know you know about me and I know about you. Besides, this video, I'm posting it. I'm not going to expose your face. But one more word from you, I will expose you. Jake Brown, that is written on the screen of the video. If you've watched the video, you'll see it. And it's not even worth sharing. This kid is believed to be around below. So Jake Brown may not have been, or he's not the one seen in the video molesting this kid. But you know, I know some of you legal-minded people. If we put a question out here now that someone, a man passing by and seeing a crawling child approaching a well in a community, the mother is inside doing something. She probably was so busy and forgot that the kid was sitting on the porch. This kid crawled and walked all the way, reached out all the way at the well. Another person passing, there's a passerby, and who says, "It's none of my business. I'm just going to walk." If that child falls in that well, you legal-minded people, who do you think is going to be held responsible? Who bears the greater penalty? Who bears the greater consequences of that particular action? I leave that to you. I say that to connect it with what Jake Brown did. Jake Brown is not the guy in the video molesting this minor, right? But Jake Brown is the man who is the custodian of information. He is the custodian of the real information regarding this child molester. So Jake Brown, if this child dies as a result of this molestation, Jake Brown is also going to be considered, should be considered, in my mind, deductively, logical reasoning, should be considered as a murderer, because he also perpetrated the act by shielding a man, a child molester. Oh my God. By shielding a child molester. Yesterday, I just did a post on social media terming Jake Brown. I said, Jake Brown, you are a disgrace to your kids, if he has any, to your wife, if he's married, to his mother, as well as his education. Because he claimed to be educated. Well, if you wanted to keep this thing away from the public, or you wanted to blackmail this fellow that knows something about you, that when he releases the information, is also going to be detrimental to your moral standing, all of that in the country. If you want a particular video to blackmail him, why couldn't you just send it to him directly and say, "Look, this is what I have. One more word from you, I'll release it." Now you brought this little kid to public ridicule, and you think you are a good messenger. No, you're not a good messenger. What is even disturbing is that this man works in he works with the National Security Agency. He's an NSA officer, Jake Brown. So this man, the essence of this particular analysis this morning is not to call on the security agency of this country to have Jake Brown arrested. That's none of my business. If the men and women in the security sector are men with moral, are people of moral, no one needs to tell them what to do. In this particular case, it's not my analysis that will prompt an action on the part of the police or the National Security Agency or the government. It will even be more frustrating. You see, President Weah, your silence most of the time can be really, really exasperating to the class of intelligentsia in this country. Vessel capsized, someone died, several people suffered. President has said nothing. All right. This man claims to be the feminist in chief. This video has been on the social. I think the very day he posted it like on a Friday of last week. It was yesterday I got to know about it. Honestly, I was behind on this particular information. Like I said to someone yesterday, our traffic, the news traffic is so jammed that sometimes you get a lot of things coming to you. So you have to filter and pick. So most of the time, your eyes don't capture some things. But after watching this video over and over yesterday and seeing what this man did or is doing to the kid in that video, look, it's heart aching. And no one needs to tell you women advocates in this country who advocacy, in fact, in this country is interest based. When people have interest in a particular person or issue, they jump out there and be making the loudest of noise just to get in the news because they want people to give them attention that yes, they are indeed advocates. This thing, if we've not had any major protestation or action, from activists and so, you women, and I'm calling on Yuna Kumba Thompson, who led the advocacy, who was having press conferences in this town regarding Ambassador Kemayan, when a lady in America accused him of, being a sex predator. I'm calling on you, Yuna Kumba Thompson. I'm calling on all of you women, Fija, and the rest of every women organization in this town, the gender ministry, get involved. And I'm going to send this video to the minister of the gender minister today. Probably she has not seen it. I'm going to send a video to her. I want to see what's going to be the action of the gender ministry. This thing is dangerous. Pedophile. Now, you want to know that. Well, this is a process. This is a health complication. So pedophiles are basically people who are attracted to underage children, sexually attracted to underage children. And this process of attraction is considered as a pedophilic disorder and is characterized by recurring intense sexually arousing fantasies, urges, or behavior involving children, usually 13 years old or younger. And the kid in this video is believed to be below 10 years old from the look on her face. All right. So the man who is seen molesting the kid, it's possible that he's, but Jake Brown is informing us that job. Maybe this man is a high profile of Georgia. So this is the medicine. Is it since this is the medicine you use to get the job? One more word from you, I will release your fees. So what Jake Brown is also saying, Jake Brown is giving us a lot of information. What it's also saying is that the job you have, despite the education, what you deal with is minors. You have sex with minors, and that way it fills your spirit bank, and you become spiritually filled. Maybe it illuminates your third eye, that you become more powerful spiritually. Something that will enable you to, when you speak with authority, you have a voice of command and all of that. You secure yourself for yourself a job, whether you are competent or not. That's what Jake Brown is also saying, that this man used medicine to get the job. And this particular medicine can only work when he's having sex with minors. Jake Brown probably does not have a child. He has not heard the cry of a baby in his house before. That's the reason why he had the guts to upload such a video as a high-profile security man in this country, giving his international experience in security, activities, coming back to Liberia to disgrace the U.S. Army as a retired soldier and come back and get involved into such insane act. Well, it's an open secret that Mr. Brown suffers from cognitive impairment. So that is something that is out there. Many people knows that. But that's not our issue. If the government can incorporate a mentally deranged person to work, thereby getting to the extent of doing such an orthodox act, that is the president's business. That's the government. We can't alter what the president wants. All right? But it's completely happening. I am speaking to you. I'm giving you a graphic view of what the video is like. So you don't have to see it. We can show it. We can play it. It's scary. So I know you mothers, fathers, brothers, uncles, sisters, and you sit there. Do you know how many civil society advocates in this town can look me in the face? Because I put it in their faces. They have asked about 5 different groups or individuals working to me. Show me your article in corporation. Many of them do not have. They come up with quasi organizations overnight just to disturb the airwaves in this town. When the real issues are happening, they do not step forth. It's selective advocacy. The advocacy of yesterday, Dr. Tukpana Tipote. Where is Deacon Carlo? And you name, as many people as you can name. Anyway, let's have a conversation. Remaining 10 minutes, Jake Brown's photo remain on that screen until the end of this first segment of the program. He's a disgrace to womanhood. He's a disgrace to moral conscience. He's a disgrace to the democracy of this country. He's a disgrace to his education. He's a disgrace to the government that is even part of it. He gets paid from taxpayers' money. Such a man should be in jail and produce the man who did the act. But this is Liberia. Regardless of his international connection. Julius, I'm talking something serious. Take your breath from my face. I'm not hungry. Let's have a conversation. Got us in the numbers 0777 107 0777. Look, Julius, I beg you this morning. 0777 107 0777 221 223 0777 221 223 are the numbers you can call us on to participate on the program this morning. You're listening to Straight from the Heart on Sky 107.1. Let's hear you. Call us on those numbers now. Let's hear from this first person on the line. Good morning. Good morning.
How is the morning?
911, good morning.
Thank you for recognizing the voice. My brother, what you just from explaining, even though I tuned to your station lately, but it got just like I opened a freeze, which is Xbox, and that cool chill came on me. But you know what really going on in this country? That is the country was founded on a Christian principle. But we are not behaving like a Christian. We are not setting an example. What do I mean? Most of the churches is not really pressing on these things. It even happening in these churches, and one that I know say it's alleged. But if the truthful pastors that are called by God and ready these things go on, they step into it, you think if they're doing the right thing and they are fasting to our Almighty God, the creator of this whole universe, you think God will not answer our prayer in this nation, Liberia?
Point, sir.
The wicked things that we are doing. God would never ever answer a prayer along with fast pastor group themselves, because his wickedness are above this nation. Thank you. God is angry. Thank you.
Thank you for your contribution as well. 911. Let's move on to another person. Call us in the numbers 0777 777 107 0777 221 223 are the numbers you can call us on to participate on the program this morning. And I'm challenging, advocates in this town. I'm challenging you, civil society organizations. Jake Brown should even be sleeping in his house comfortably at this time without providing information about the man who's seen molesting a minor. He should even be resting there. If we're talking about a moral nation, if we're talking about people, a group of people who are issue-based, but not, promoting personal interest, he should be going home and relaxing and sleeping in peace. His home should be besieged, surrounded by residents of Broadview. This is no incitement. His home should be besieged. He should provide the information he started. He should end what he has started. Someone is asking, Zion, how could you even ask that I should show the video? Look, stop that. Stop it. Don't even request to see the video. It doesn't matter whether you see it or not. You want to be a doubting Thomas? Fine. But I cannot be sitting here and telling you that, Jake Brown, a Facebook page, he have maintained for so long that he gets connected to friends or with friends all over the world. He brought that page down because of what he did. And you are there on the live feed asking that the video should be screened. You think journalism or broadcasting is a play? By putting the video on our screen, do you know what that means to Sky FM? Let's have a serious conversation. He saw the video in one chat room. David E. Harris says, acceptable. Matthias, he should be arrested by, well, Call us on the numbers 0777 107 0777 107 0777 221 223 are the numbers you can call us on to participate on the program this morning. You're listening to Straight from the Heart and Sky 107.1. Let's hear from this person. You have to walk away from your monitor. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. This is Ram Giselle on my way from Ghana.
Yeah, but you could tell the driver to reduce the volume of the monitor in the car.
Okay, he reduced it already.
Please go ahead. Make your point.
Okay, you see, what people will continue to do wickedness in this country is that because whenever you do it, there is no action that can be taken against these people. So you observe that wickedness will continue to overtake the country. But if the person does a wrong and there are legal actions taken against the people, you will see gradually the wickedness in the country will cease. So I want for the government to take this into consideration.
Okay.
The government themselves, they will not do it because they themselves are inside.
Okay, my brother.
Thank you very much this morning.
Thanks for the contribution. Let's move on to another person. It's extremely disheartening. You know, some legal-minded friends of mine reached out to me yesterday. Well, they are looking at the video. Maybe they're trying to build an argument around it. Let's hear from this other person. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, myself.
Good morning, sir. Let's hear you.
Yeah, my name is Mama Mulu and I call from District number 17.
Mr. Molu, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the Jake Brown man was an aspiring in District number 17.
Yeah.
Yeah, during the last election. And I think he's the son of the late Sherman Brown. Yeah. We know about him in District number 17. He ran in District number 17 today. Or the description he gave him about why transpired is terrible. And I think the general ministry, the government should be proactive in handling this issue. Thank you.
Thanks for the contribution on the program this morning. Let's move on to this other person. Good morning. Good morning. All right. Call us on those numbers 0777 107 0777 107. Raymond Alpha, what are you apologizing for? Sorry for the statement. Musa is following from Cardwell. John T. Pili says Mr. Brown needs to face justice. What a shame to Mama Liberia. It's a shame to his education. He wasted time sitting in a classroom, in fact. Let's hear from this person. Good morning.
Good morning, Matthias.
Good morning. Let's hear you.
Yeah, I never started a program, but from other quarter, I think what G. Brown did was very bad. But according to Marco Francis, the government will accept everything. Because if you look at the prophecy that Marco Francis gave, he never called the government. You know, when you look at the description, everything that's going on this government. Because when the man went to Italy to give his prophecy, started that I brought you down from the West African nation, Liberia. The road is rocky. But now what we are talking about, we pray that one day it will get better.
Okay.
And he went on to the youth are carrying up to elect their own leader. He is from the grassroots.
Okay, my brother. Listen, quickly regarding that particular statement. Good morning. Please hold on a little bit. I'm one of the. Anyway, just go ahead, make your point. I'm going to respond to that fellow. Go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Let's hear you.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Go ahead.
I'll tell you from it. I'll join from the local.
Go ahead, sir.
This is the news every day. For raping children under the ages 4, 5, 6, 7, all the time. This is unfortunate. You know, government needs to come down on people and always point to the kind of act. It's very unfortunate. Children raping child, as I mean, they say the child you look at his face around the age of 10. Why don't we be happy of raping poor children? Because it's your purposes.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Passaway. And in Ambassador Joseph Jake Brown is a disgrace. He should be arrested. Let's hear from this person. Good morning. Walk away from your monitor, please.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, the kind of news you are reading, Matthias, already, it put tears in my eye. This is what even wake me up. I was listening to your news airline.
What's your name? What's your name?
The kind of issues that is happening. You know, the kind of man, J. Brown, oh man. That's why you are saying you don't need to ask the state security or the police. You need, because this kind of person, it was a very terrifying. That's why you are defining him to be.
He's a pedophile. And quickly, thank you so much. Let me just use this time now. The fellow talk about, we got to pause on this segment now for the cause and introduce another talking point. The fellow talk about Micah Francis, the church, the Catholic Church, the Catholic Diocese, the Secretariat has already written a statement, released a statement to that effect that the statement is in no connection, it's no way in connection. All right, there are a lot of women. If you people are serious about this, well, I am not going to go with you to Jake Brown's house. I've already directed you. He lives in Broadview. You pass by Broadview store. By the time there's a house, it looks like a ship is right on the road. You people need to take action. You women sit over there. This kid is less than 10 years. You need to watch. How could a man remove his penis, put it in the mouth of a child below 10? And Jake Brown is shooting that fellow. Let's join the Voice of America for 5 minutes of news.
Haiti's Police Chief Leon Charles said 26 suspects have been arrested so far, including 3 police officers and 18 former Colombian soldiers. Another 7 high-ranking police officials have been detained but not formally arrested as authorities investigate why no one in the president's security detail was injured that night. The cleanup is underway in the storm-ravaged central Chinese city of Zhengzhou. That killed 33 people via remote. This is VOA News. The United States on Thursday imposed sanctions on the minister and an Interior Ministry rights abuses and a crackdown on anti-government protests this month. Thousands of Cubans staged protests a week ago to demonstrate against an economic crisis that has brought shortages of basic goods and power outages. Hundreds of activists were detained. The U.S. Treasury Department said that the sanctions had been placed on the Minister of the Revolutionary Armed Guards and on the Interior Ministry Security Unit Washington blames for the crackdown. The Cuban government has blamed the protests on what it calls U.S.-financed counter-revolutionaries exploiting economic hardships. U.S. officials have acknowledged that the targeted sanctions may not have much impact. Cubans rarely have U.S. financial dealings and seldom travel to the U.S., limiting the practical impact, of such measures. Another high-ranking police official had been detained but not formally arrested. The White House says Chinese opposition to a World Health Organization probe into the origins of the coronavirus is irresponsible and dangerous. The White House press secretary called it not a time to be stonewalling. The plan includes the hypothesis that the virus could have escaped from a Chinese laboratory and the proposal in the central Chinese city of Wuhan. On Thursday, the vice minister of the National Health Commission told reporters he was taken aback when he read the details. The first cases emerged in Wuhan in December of 2019. The virus was believed to have jumped to humans from animals being sold for food at a city market. The largest wildfire in the United States continues to burn in southern Oregon in the western part of the country, but lower winds and higher humidity were assisting firefighting crews in Northern California. A fire spread to neighboring state of Nevada. In Oregon, some 2,000 homes have been ordered to evacuate and 5,000 still under threat, according to the Associated Press. No deaths from the fires have been reported thus far. For more news, we invite you to join us at our website. That is voanews.com, also on the VOA mobile app. I'm Michael Brown reporting by remote, VOA News.
Wake up, Mama Liberia. Wake up, Mama Liberia. Wake up, Mama Liberia. Wake up, Mama Liberia. Liberia, oh Liberia, oh Liberia, wake up. Liberia, oh Liberia, oh Liberia, wake up. Liberia, oh Liberia, oh Liberia, wake up. And pray. Oh, Liberia, wake up, oh, wake up and do something. Oh, Liberia, try to settle things the way we need to be. Maybe it's all we need in our world. Mama, Liberia.
Wake up, my people. Can't you hear the song? Can't you see the shining sun? Been sleeping so long. No time for guns. No time to do wrong. Say the war is gone. My people be strong.
Wake up, oh, wake up and do something. Try to settle things the way we used to be.
That's right. Liberians try to settle things the way we used to be. Unity is what we need, and we have to come together as one people to ensure that we rebuild this great country, Mama Liberia. And you're listening to Straight from the Heart on Sky 107.1. My name is Matthias Labindi. Earlier on, we were talking about Mr. Jake Brown, you know, a shooter of pedophiles. Probably he's a pedophile as well. Pedophiles are those men. By the way, let me explain a little bit about it before I get to my guest. Now, you live in a community where there's a man who is very influential. Because of his influence, you see that it's okay. Because of his influence, you see that sometimes he gets around your house and sees that your little daughter, beautiful daughter, and say, "This girl's my wife, right? She's my wife." And he starts to bankroll, funds into your family. That child will trust that man so much that whenever he invites her, even in his bedroom, she's going to enter there. And it also goes this way. Pedophiles, they also look at it in a way that sometimes they see not even just minors, even around 13, because they deal with 13 up, right? 13 down. So somebody see the girl, they say, "Listen, you got a fine body, right? You're looking very good. You're growing up fine. You see your shape, you're looking." They gave a graphic picture of how the young girls look like, the minors look like. The children would then start to look within themselves and see beauty. Of course, every child should grow up identifying some valuable things about themselves. But when these men, these pedophiles, who will end up abusing the girls, when they start these kind of things, put an end to it automatically. All right? Where some people, but you can see and tell that this for nothing. So this kid will walk in and go to the room and all of that. In the end, the child gets abused. Do not allow poverty for somebody to marry your child before even they are mature to talk about marriage. Pedophiles, these people, they're suffering from pedophilic mental disorder or pedophilic disorder. Check it out. What happens to them? Their own emotional attraction is only connected to minors from 13. They feel strong sexual feeling for minors. It can be boys. Some of them do it both with boys and girls. In the end, they abuse them. So Jake Brown, Mr. It's not a Mr. It looks a bit, responsible. Joseph Jake Brown, this man who's shooting this pedophile, is believed that he himself is a pedophile. But as for him, he's already, according to information, already suffering from cognitive impairment. So it's affecting him already. It's because of his mental disorder. The information is that it's because of his mental disorder, he got retired quickly from the U.S. Marine. He came to Broadview and started behaving irrational in that area and thing. He's in a national security agency. Now, and someone expect me to sit here and tell Patrice Sudu or tell the NSA boss or tell the government what to do? These are responsible men and women running the government. They should know what to do. And this thing borders around moral. Gender ministry should not also say to me that Matthias should take a complaint, or people, the family should take a complaint first to gender ministry before the ministry acts. At this point, we'll put an end to this conversation and move on to another talking point. It's very heartaching, and I can assure you that even this afternoon, when I'm playing host to my guest, I will have to take at least 5-10 minutes and create the awareness. If it sounds insightful, let me be blamed for inciting the public for the wrong reason. I'm not inciting the public to go to JFK or maybe one hospital and barricade because of allegation that somebody is under attack and being killed and people get wounded. But this man should be apprehended. If the government cannot do something, whether he's a trained U.S. Marine or whatsoever, citizen arrest should also take effect at this time to save our girls, to save our future generation, our princesses, our future leaders, our presidents, our ministers, our gender ministers, our international speakers, our intellectuals. Is that how we're going to bring them up? Anyway, you're listening to Straight from the Heart on Sky 107.1. We have 11 minutes after 8 o'clock, and we have with us now Mr. Keter. Andrew Keter is the president. He's not in here this morning officially. In his official capacity, I've not extended. He's reached out like 4 times. Hey, look, Matthias, you had a conversation with us, prior to the election. Now I've won. You've not extended that invite. Yes, brother, I'm certain they're going to do that. But it's good that you're here. Andrew Keter is a bright young man. He won the election in Dole community. He's currently transforming the community. There are some initiatives that I'm seeing now that I did not see in yesteryears. I'm not trying to say that past leaders did not do well, but he's coming in with new ideas, rebranding the style of leadership in Sadoka of this Simon Kanyado Youth Association. Along with Andrew is the chairman of the Friends of Market Tipissing in Montserrat County District 14, Mr. Abraham Nimle. Abraham is here this morning to give us some information about the activities of the Friends of Tipissing, and maybe give us a little view of what they make up the leadership, because this afternoon I'm going to be having some young people from District 14 who think that their lawmaker is a sleeping giant. Jesus, nothing to hide is going to be really nothing to hide this afternoon. Yes, Abraham, good morning. Welcome, brother.
Good morning, Matthias, and let me say the pleasant good morning to the Sky FM family and you, Matthias Labendi, for the invite.
Thank you, Abraham. How is the Friends of Market Tipissing in District 14?
Well, we are moving on gradually. We are making some strides to ensure that our people benefit from our little legal resources that we earn on a monthly basis.
Okay, and Mr. Keter, congratulations once again. I called you officially to congratulate you when you won your election, but I'm using this occasion now that you're sitting here to congratulate you and wish you the best, wish you all the best of luck, that your leadership be successful. Wish you want to see that transformation that we all yearn for as young people. Welcome. Good morning.
Well, thank you. Good morning, Matthias. Let me say good morning to the listeners that follow the broadcast this morning.
Welcome. And Keter is the president, like I said, of the Simon Kanyado Youth Association, Sadoka. But let's begin with you, Abraham. Abraham, we all know Market Tipissing, and many people listening to the broadcast will probably take a mental flight to going back to see what Market Tipissing has done in terms of his advocacy. I remember one comical thing happened between he and the current lawmaker, and Market went to jail. I was still reporting for Red Power, and Market was on my mic. He said, Matthias, I smell feces. Matthias, I went to jail, I smell feces. That man, he said, anyway, these are all things that we have to sometimes sit and reflect and build our strength on the current things that we engage in. So let's talk a bit about the Friends of Market Tipissing. How did it come about? Why do we need to have Friends of Market Tipissing? Why not Friends of Matthias Labini? Is it because I'm not a politician? Why not Friends of D. Wampo Quillen? Why not Friends of Stevie Moore? Why Friends of Market Tipissing?
Well, Matthias, if you will retrospect far back, the name Market Tipissing is a household name to the Liberian body politics, and when it comes to advocating for the ordinary masses. So we organize the Friends of Market TVC not based on the pocket size, not based on the resources he ought to give us personally. But we organize the Friends of Market TVC to see and to manifest the dream of a young man that see the need to help the ordinary people, even with a widow man. So we organize the Friends of TVC so as to reach the TVC dream and aspirations and messages back to the common people that will not have the opportunity to receive that same message or news. It was
yeah, go ahead.
It was far back. The Michael Do TVC started from the community in advocacy when he put pressures behind the former president, President Eddie Johnson said, when you are advocating for the Dole community rule, and he makes sure that he led serious protests, peaceful, to make sure that Dole community receive a paved road today that we are enjoying today in Dole community. There's applause for our community and our district, because if you will agree with me that your photo of District 14 in Morrisville County, the Clarendon Belt used to be or just a residential area, but through his advocacy joining other colleagues, like my colleague today, we can see vehicles or other commodities, goods and services are flowing freely within District 14. That the Dole community road is connected on more than 4 roads, major 4 roads within our country. So these are some of the advocacies of Michael Do TVC. He did not stop there, Michael Do TVC. Michael Do TVC advocated to President Sirleaf that our people, the ordinary masses, the children and we that are sleeping with crest, living with rats, should make sure and go to school. And advocacy yield fruit. Like you see today, the Matthew Sori were elevated because of people like Michael Do TVC, the advocacies he involved into at the time.
Michael Do TVC is a household name indeed. Now, talking about his dream and aspiration, forming the Friends of Market TVC, how will that help to ensure that Michael's dreams and aspirations are, achieved in District 14?
Well, we are students of organization. We know the period in which we structure, we form, and we supervise. Looking at mega resources, what we say, it was one day I called Michael Do TVC. I said, leader, you have been doing well for our people, but this, what you're doing for our people, we need to structure it and make it more organized that people will know where the help coming from. Like when you form Michael Do TVC, he told you that this initiative or this organization was established by the friends, people that believe in me. I call you, I said, we believe in you. We can make the dream to be a reality. If you remember that one time Michael Do TVC contested with Sir Joseph to be senator of Morrisville County. And Michael Do TVC was able to give about 100 to 50 plus scholarship within District 14. Just organizing few people, appoint somebody today, appoint another person tomorrow. I said, no, it cannot be this way. Let's organize a structure that will get the chairman of Friends of Michael Do TVC, we'll get the co-chairman, we'll get the secretary, we'll get all members of that team that will be waiting to work in your interest. Whether you're a person, whether you're absent, to make sure that we reach the dreams and aspirations of the common people. That's how I call him, and we set the stage. And I call Legman, comrade Andrew Keto, O.P. Johnson, James Ritchie, Christian Poker, and Oyanti Weir, and the rest of the brothers and sisters that believe in Michael Do TVC. When I call them, we organize this group. This group is not a political group. This group is a group that is a humanitarian group that is working to put all mechanisms in place to make sure that the dreams and aspirations of Michael Do TVC is actualized or realized.
For me, what is really interesting, and to be honest, I'm really excited, I feel really elated in my heart this morning, is that you young people, right? You could say, I'm a young man, I'm intellectual. Yeah, Michael did what he could at the time, and he's still around. His voice is still respected, on the airwaves of our country. Why can't I talk about rebranding my own name, Abraham Nimele, to mention Stephen Moore, right? Stephen Moore is an intellectual too. All right. Why can't Stephen Moore stand alone? Why can't Abraham Nimele stand alone? But what is interesting to me the most is that you young people reduce your egos to ensure that you form a group in the name of a fellow young man. What is that specific thinking you point at that you then look at it within yourself, that Stephen did not see it within himself, but you thought to say, let's look at Michael. Why?
it is often said, Matthias, that we should give the flower to the man when he's alive. And Michael Dotibisi is of no exception. He has contributed immensely to our community, to our district, and the country at large. So we coming up to say, forming the Friends of Michael Dotibisi, we picture the workings of Michael Dotibisi and leaving his legacy to make name for it to resonate to the majority of the common people. So we organize a group to make sure that we help in actualizing the dream of Michael Dotibisi. It could be like you said, we form the Friends of Andrew Ketor. Somebody say, because most often when we are coming to election, you get Friends of Senator Dillon, you get Friends of Ellen, the group to take we are from to the airport, and you get so many groups, but there is not the actual intent of why we form the Friends of Michael Dotibisi. We form the Friends of Michael Dotibisi to make sure that the dream and aspiration, Michael Dotibisi is a visionary leader. He's somebody that thinks beyond the bracket to make sure that people should benefit from, even he's not working in government, he's just in the private sector, but he's always in the continual habit of being somebody that's willing to always help. Even if it is the last, he's willing to give to the poor people. So we say, this cannot just be an ordinary thing where when Michael Dotibisi want to help, you say, okay, today I'll call Abraham Nimle, tomorrow I'll call Andrew Ketor, tomorrow I'll call Stephen Mo, tomorrow I'll call D. Wompu Nimaden Kwele. We say that's culture, formal institution, make it an humanitarian-based institution that when Michael Dotibisi is happy, we take it on record to know that it reach to the actual people and those of whom that will be in need and will appreciate that little gesture. So we form this group to see how best we can transcend and make sure the message resonates to the common people.
That's right. And another thing that is really interesting is that Andrew Ketor is currently the president of SADOKA, something I've congratulated him. I don't know what I need to do beyond that. Even if I invite him here, it may not suffice. He's president. I need to be careful because, I really look forward to one day hosting President Weah, but I'm having a president. So yes, president, no problem. That's a good one. Andrew, you could say that I'm president and people could get to you. Probably they've said some things to you that when Michael Dotibisi was president of SADOKA, as well as these things happening, corruption and all of that. Why didn't you look at your office to say, I'm now president of SADOKA and so on, so I cannot be part of Friends of Michael Dotibisi, but you agree to be secretary of the Friends of Michael Dotibisi. What is this particular things you guys are, looking at? I like the idea. I like the humility, Sean. What is that thing that made you to bring down your arms and just submit?
Well, Matthias, thank you very much. Like you listen to the chairperson of the Friends of Michael Dotibisi, and the issue that has to do with this group, we that reside within Duokome specifically, we decided to organize this group because we followed the advocacy of Michael Dotibisi when he served as the first elected youth president of Duokome Youth Association. And coming on board as president, I've been following his channels, I've been following his legacy. And being a young man who have advocated for so many things within Duokome and Liberia at large. He has graduated from a stage of advocating and now he's implementing. When you look at me now, I'm wearing a group called the Wilderness Orphan Disabled Assistance Organization SHIDE, of which I am the executive director. The major reason why I formed part of this group is because the formed part of Michael Dotibisi Friends is because I want to believe in the aspiration of serving humanity. Okay. It's not just all about I'm president, but the actual thing is that how can we serve our people? Matter if we mind.
Let me get this here. Yeah. Because this is coming from a young man. I think it should be coming from somebody at the age of 50, 60 who is in authority. The actual thing you say is about how to serve the people. It's not about who leads, who what.
It's not about who leads, but it's about serving humanity. Like when so many times we have chatted with Michael Dotibisi, we Zoom with him on the media and we talk. And I asked him, I said, Michael, what the intent of this group is? He told me, he said, Ketor, the intent of this group is to make sure that we serve humanity. We know that we have been advocating, we know that we have been projecting, but this is time that we should implement those things that we have advocated for. When Lorenzo Tibiwia was president of Sadoka, we observed that Michael Dotibison, at that time, there was no friends of Michael Dotibison. Michael Dotibison, in his own weak way, sent not less than 200,000 to the Dokombe Youth Association. And 50
as
young
a contribution.
as his contribution. And 50 young persons benefited from that financial aid program. So it tells us that Michael Dotibison is willing to serve humanity, but not just to come in and saying that, oh, we want to be love, we want to be this. But we believe that this institution is there to serve humanity. And that's the major reason why Andrew Esketo, as an individual or president of Sadoka, has decided to form part of this group.
Now, let me also put this to you. What happens, because I know we achieve more when we galvanize our forces,
sure,
right? But what happens when people bring down their egos, when people bring down their arms? Because you people are practicalizing in this. We've heard people many times I sit here and say, you know, bring down your arms. You are a leader, you know, be humble and all of that. But you now, who is practicalizing this particular message, how do you feel, you know, humbling yourself to someone who served in a particular capacity that you now serve in? Politically, when we say this guy was corrupt, this guy did that, and you could capitalize on that and relax and say, I'm not going to deal with Michael, and I'm fine. I'm going to audit his administration and all of that. And so, what happens when people bring down their arms and decide to serve selflessly, regardless of who is involved, who's not involved, like you said, serving humanity?
Well, Matthias, like you made mention of that. For me, what I observed, if an individual of high profile or an individual that has obtained certain level or certain position brings down himself to his people, you see that level of anxiety within his people. You see the joy that the people have whenever they see somebody of that caliber come down to them. Like whenever we walk to the people carrying rice, carrying sugar, carrying salt, they feel very more excited. It's not just to sit back and feel very more comfortable in this position. But it's about going to the people, because whenever they see you with them, they see that you are doing those things that they admire it, and they feel very more happy. So we believe that whenever we bring down ourselves to our people see themselves in us.
Let me talk a little bit about you. Now, you are a leader too. You are heading Sadoka. Recently, you launched a project, a cleanup campaign, your project. I remember going to school from Dual Community. Many times we had to, remove our shoes, put it in plastic. We get to Claratown. Every morning you have to get a piece of cloth to make sure you get a Claratown. You wipe your feet and everything, put on your shoes, get to school. Make sure you keep that cloth by somewhere, because you're going to need it. You're going to need it when you come. Return. Yeah, you're going to need it when you come back. You're going to need that plastic that you put your shoes in when you come back. And so, but now you have a street, we have better road, but yet flooding is still in. How do you clean a community? How do you carry on a cleanup exercise in a community that is engulfed with flood and river sometimes overflows into the area?
Well, Matthias, thank you very much. Even though this section is not intended for that, but
let's just talk this particular one. It's very important. Briefly.
Very much important.
Yeah, we're going to go back.
Realistically, we are observed over the past time since we've been in the Tokombe politics. We have observed that majority of our people might have been filled with programs, but looking at the sanitation aspect of our community has not been prioritized. So when we took office, we observed from our microscopic eye that there should be a need that the sanitation aspect of Tokombe be the first agenda. Tokombe is a slum, and you observe that we have 6 sub-communities. Among those 6 sub-communities, we have 4 there. They have been surrounded by water. You have Hope Community. You have the Jonas Island, you have the Success Community, and you have the Wali Peloton. These 4 communities, there's a 5 with Pastor Town. They have been surrounded by water. And you have communities that reclawed into the extent that water enters people's houses.
Yeah.
So when we saw that, we decided to launch the Dual Community Corporation. The first thing we started with the cleaning of Dual Community Road. Even those communities that the paved road that we have now, the community has clot rather, but we have
the new road.
The new road.
So the drainage is narrow.
It's very much narrow, and water is not flowing easy because people misuse the road. So the leadership now is trying to maintain this road, and by now, like tomorrow, Saturday, will be in Tokombe again on the main road, trying to make sure that we clear this road. We are getting into every sub-community within Tokombe with the sole purpose of cleaning the major drainages that will have a flow of water. the first Saturday in August, we are entering Hope Omere to making sure that we have about 3 drainages in Hope Omere.
Okay.
We are going to make sure that we enter those drainages and clean all of those drainages.
Aren't you concerned about the offensive smell from there? Because what you're talking right now, I'm just imagining by the time you put your shovel in there and pull the first, dirt, the smell from there can be very offensive.
We know that it has some offensive smells, but we are serving our people. And we believe that in doing these things, it creates that healthy environment for our people. We'll have the protection on our, we'll have our nose masks.
Don't you need the assistance of the EPA to at least get involved?
We need the assistance. As I'm speaking to you now, we have communicated with Professor Wilson Tape, and we are in close conjunction in making sure that we have a project that we want him to undertake within our committee.
All right, Mr. President, sorry, you're going to come back officially and talk about your leadership. But let's get back to the chairman of the Friends of Tipicing. What do you have in store? I'm told that there is a package that our mothers expect to get. My only warning here, I don't mean to intimidate. I don't mean to be personal. My Samalema village should also be included because there are some old folks that I need to benefit. By the way, that's just a joke. Don't say Matthias said it. That's why we're bringing it here. But what do you have?
That's your right, Matthias.
What do you have?
The advocacy should call the cross.
Yeah, sure.
So that's your right.
Yeah,
it is bounding upon the Friends of Tipicing to read. It's a part of the community as well. So that's your. We will not be offended, and we'll try to work in our recommendation.
At least 2, 3 can just drop there, and
we get people from there already. We took their names, and they will be our beneficiary because he will call our program. So I know.
I'm gonna come in to cover for 2 reasons. Number one, I am an admirer of Market Joe Tipicing, and by saying that does not mean when he does wrong, I'm not going to call it.
Sure.
Everyone knows me for that.
Sure.
And secondly, I'm going to come to make sure not to intimidate you guys with my eyes. I'm going to make sure to see how many days will drop in some of them as well. Sure. But what do you have? Let's see.
Well, Matthias, a few months back, the Friends of Tipicing took on a project, and that project we call in 2 phases. One was the Fresh Cut New Look.
Yeah.
The Fresh Cut New Look covers over 150 children. Hair were cut at the 2 community proposed clinic, District 14 proposed clinic, where we have about 100 plus to 50 children, students, school-going kids who have the haircut from various schools within the district. And we thought it wise to make that project to be a continual project after every 2 months of semester. And we also did not stop there. We go further and give all valedictorians, those that do the various schools, about 200 to 300 in numbers school-going kids. We give them a copybook, pencil, and other school materials just to ensure and to encourage them to keep the torch spreading. So we took on that initiative coming from a single, yes, an individual in Market Tipicing, using his meager resources to help school-going kids.
Let's talk a bit about the fresh cut, fresh look, right?
Fresh cut, new look.
Okay, fresh cut, new look.
Yeah.
Good one. A lot of students benefited from it.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that sometimes, I remember many times while attending the Slipway, sometimes it will take 2 weeks before I bat my head because you're so busy hustling, and so I know it benefited a number of people. Can you attach any cost to it that you have to pay the young people who did the barbing, because it's their expertise you were using to do the job?
Yes, Matthias. We governors, young barbers within our district, and we were able to compensate, because we cannot say pay, but we were able to compensate them.
I like your choice.
We were able to compensate them for the service they were providing for us, because Market Tipicing, one good thing about Market Tipicing, I've been following Market Tipicing from my juvenile days in politics. I've been following Market Tipicing before growing to this stage. He's one person that always, with that motivational spirit to encourage colleagues near him, be it equal, be it cadet, or you say junior comrades, he always with that habit to encourage colleagues near him. So what happened at the time? We call a meeting for young barbers. When we call a meeting, and we try to talk to them that we compensate you for your service to help have about 100 plus to 50 kids going to school haircut. And we go to an agreement, we have that arrangement, everything went well, and they did the job for all. We compensate them with the little resources we were having. We purchased a blade script and a cartoon of blade script, and we also try to give it to them, to the Bible, so as to help them to improve their business they are involved with.
Okay, so let's move on to the copybooks. You know, I don't know whether you did it, but back there, now live from the angle I see it now, gentlemen, this is not an interview. I just want to provide a disclaimer. We're having a friendly conversation. I'm having a friendly conversation with my brothers from Dual Community. So I feel at home already. So at some point I may make statement. Doesn't mean that I'm trying to be part of. I'm trying to be a guest as well. So live, I've seen it from a different angle. That sometimes the experiences that some of us had yesterday are not the same experiences that children of nowadays are having. Our time used to cut copybook into two, divide it. Nowadays, I don't think they are doing that. So if we were waiting for someone to bring us half copybook, and now Market Distribution provided a full copybook, so meaning someone's story yesterday and another person has changed, you know, in a many way. How many children benefited from that?
200 plus, and not just a copybook, but I'm talking about dozens. Each to
receive a dozen
of copybook.
Okay, all right, that's a good one.
We get a material to that.
Okay,
we get our evidence. We post to our page and we do a thank you message. Each student, those of whom that are representing the various schools that those for that semester or for that period receive a dozen of copybook. So we structure in a way that we don't want to give them one copybook that they would not feel like appreciative in what they are doing in the schooling process. So we thought about, we say we'll give you all subject. So we'll get each student that does their various schools, we'll give them one dozen of copybook equivalent to 12 pieces. So you see in the good way or the good gesture how Market Distribution cares for the people.
Another thing that I look at, so something happened some time ago where I saw something on Facebook or some fundraiser. It's a fund, Dual Community support, Dual Community charity something. Was there a fundraiser, GoFundMe something launch on Facebook? Can you just
the GoFundMe on Facebook. Okay, it has to do with the scholarship program.
Okay,
it was where leader Market Distribution generated funds. And he sent it to the Samuel Khan Document Youth Association.
Okay,
and you're asking all our partners. Like most of them at times when we are taking initiative, we can get constrained at times because the resources only coming from an individual. And you being a humanitarian group, we try to structure the group because we are making all frontal effort to register the Friends of Market Distribution. First, we thought we call it the Market Distribution Foundation, the Market Distribution Humanitarian Foundation. And
well, I think that is a very, very suitable because Friends of Market Distribution, by the time we get to election, it's going to have a political.
We say from the Genesis, this group now a political group. Even though the dream bearer and the CEO of this group is a politician, but for this group is now a political group because there are people from diverse political background or diverse school or thought that is part of this group. So what happened is that we want to launch an initiative because September, before I get to the upcoming program for
Sunday,
this coming Sunday, yes, let me just give this clear picture of the Friends of Market Distribution, how we intend to expand the group. We are working on our documents. Now we want to meet Labyrinth Business Registry to see how best we can register the Market Distribution Humanitarian Foundation. We want to expand this outside District 14 for now. We are in small numbers, but when you say Friends of Market Distribution, that you, from the intro, you are Friends of Market Distribution. And when I do oppose that, I say the Friends of Market Distribution, that all recognized big brothers say, but all the Friends of Market Distribution. So I will call Friends of Market Distribution. So we say, you are Friends of Market Distribution, but we're talking about intimacy. So we want to structure it to something different. So we are working with Labyrinth Business Registry to legalize the Market Distribution Humanitarian Foundation. Like we said, we are doing this on a free of charge basis. Giving the flower to the man is alive. Market Distribution has over time advocated for Dual Community, has advocated for District 14 and Mama Liberia Lash. We cannot pay him his tribute when he is not alive. So while he is alive, now I want to pay him that tribute and give him that flower that people will take us. Because Matthias, it will surprise you to know, if I'm an assistant minister and I work to gender, and I cannot get about 5% under my control, I'm not talking to anybody, Matthias, but I'm just giving you the scenario. I cannot just say every month, let me just take $100. You work here at Sky FM as a veteran journalist, Matthias. If even you're making $200,
don't put me on the spot. I'm not making even
if you're
$100.
making 200, Matthias, you might able to get about 2 to 3 persons under your control. That when more, and you can even use $20 on. That's okay. We got to wait to say we'll be in government or we should get lucrative jobs for it. But for Michael Dotebisi, if he can help with his legal resources, every day when you call, he say, Chairman, no free money in America. Chairman, no free money in America. We work for what we earn.
That's a fact.
So for him to come back and give to the people, that's a good initiative. So like I was telling you about the legalization of the Michael Dotebisi Humanitarian Foundation, we are making scrap. Our document, the secretary with the CEO, the chairman, and all the members of the team, we are already beyond anytime because we want to launch project. Like we talk about, they come in September. 500. Those of whom that cannot afford. We're talking about masses coming, not only be do coming. This time around, we're crossing District 14.
Okay.
We'll be sending about 500 kids to school. And we're not launching that money cannot come from Michael Dotebisi in pocket. Like friends of Michael Dotebisi, Matthias are friends of Michael Dotebisi. So we drop Matthias envelope and say, just help us with your widow mite. Anything you think.
I like the way you put it, widow mite, because if you guys are specific now, that's the time we try to some of these things. Yeah, widows mite. At least.
Your widow mite. If we can get about 20% contributing, what we can add from our own foundation pocket, it will be a great thing to do.
Okay, so we still have a pig in a bag, and the public wants us to unveil it. But before we do that, you talk about not making specific reference to anyone, right? Given what Michael is doing from his pocket and through other assistance from other like-minded people, if all of us from Duo community, let's say Matthias, we have a particular area that we all can dump our resources, right? Every month, Matthias sends $10 to Duo community. Keter sends $10. Tamba Johnny, he partly live in Duo community, send $10. Oliver Kine, other guys, $10 to a particular foundation. Maybe we can support the Michael Dotebisi Foundation. If all of us in government, those in government, and so, given what you have experienced, what you have seen from the little that is going on now and the impact it's creating, what do you think is going to happen when we all join hands in giving back?
That is why we say over time, Matthias. That is why we say over time. It will make an immense progress for our community. Because the money will not be coming to only the foundation, it will be going back to the people. The same people we live with, the common people. That resource will come out of the common people. Like I said to you, Matthias, I'm a student of administration and leadership. I know the style of good leadership. Like I said, you do not need to be in government before you give to your people, or you don't need to have a lucrative job. Matter if I'm serving as an assistant minister or minister and live with my people, I should get at least about 10% under my control to just able to help on a monthly basis. Who tells you, Matter, that everybody, people, and the dwellers on your whole area know? They just want you to identify them in a meaningful and a little way that will even recognize you. But it's not happening. You know how many people, I don't want to be personal. We know how many
please don't be. I don't want to spoil this
I don't want to be personal. You know how many young people who get from Duo in the US or other parts of the world? Yes, some of them are happy. But for Michael Dotebisi to take the lead and say, I'm working in the US, even though I'm just doing a little job to earn for my family and myself, but every month or every given period, I will help my community, help my district, I will help my country. I think it's a good thing for us.
You know, some of the things that Michael used to see on the radio, I remember when he just went to the US and came back for the first time, and he appeared on Capital FM with me. He said, we can create a road, that we can create a road, a bridge between Liberia and America that we can drive to go to America and think. People said that, well, this guy just traveled to America. It seems he's seen something different, has changed his mind, and he's talking, out of order. But to see these things manifesting, that listen, we don't have to talk all the talk and not take the actions. To put them in action, I would not like for us to unveil what is in the bag.
Okay, Matthias. So the friends of TVC were on Sunday. Give a 50 bag of rice to 100 what we call
family heads,
vulnerable mothers. Our and we said we want to give about 100 plus. Looking at the capacity and the strength of the leader, we say we give about 100 plus bag of rice to all folks within our community. From the genesis, I said female, but we added male to it as well to make it gender balance.
Okay.
Because there are some old folks who they are our father, where they too don't have the hand to achieve for the Judah 26. So we thought it was to make it both gender balance. What we do, we structure the listing, like you listen to the U president, he said, two communities divided into 6 parts. We get a Watusi community, we get a Kawafachi community, the Samanina community, we're part of the Asden community, we get a Bassotan community, we get a Hope community, Success community, and so on. So what we did is that we structured the team into numbers. We structured the team into numbers that beneficiaries.
Like how many persons you think will benefit from each community? Because it's not gonna reach everyone.
It cannot reach everyone. Even now, as I speak to you, my phone cannot rest.
People that stay asking, are you going to reach to me?
It's not easy. I know. It's not easy. People here have an opportunity. They want to grab it, but we put them on standby and tell them that things will get better and we will reach to them. But like we talk about the beneficiaries, we are going to take about 15 persons to 20 from each communities.
Okay.
Yeah, 15 to 20 persons each community.
Giving the kind of people that you wish to see. If they are in number and they are in dire need, then you increase the number.
Yes. Right.
Mr. Keto, you're the secretary. You do a lot of writings, and so I'm surprised how, not trying to be trouble, how Sad became a writer. I know Sad never used to like speaking English except farming and other things, and so. But yeah, you're the one. You're the one doing the paperwork, and so
sure.
What can you say about this particular distribution and for what you people have done doing a survey and thing? You're going to be reaching out some people, but given the expression of interest for people to benefit from this thing, what do you think what will happen if more is to get into that community, to touch lives, the kind of lives that you people want to go touch on Sunday?
Well, my dad, thank you. Like I said, having been the ED of the Widows and Orphan Disabled organization that I founded since 2016, when I was telling the chairperson that we did a survey into Okumbe, and we have realized that we have up to 60 to 100 persons, all folks that are living life that is very much deplorable. And there is a dying need that we attend to them. When this initiative came into being, we had a discussion with the Youth Association of the Okumbe that we divided the slots, so wherein the Youth Association will have an opportunity because the youth has been organized in a way that they have lawmakers from every sub-community.
Okay.
So that will prove a clear representation from that community. So what we did, we gave them 40 slots. The friends of Magodo that also from part of the rural community took 60. So the youth leadership that I manage now, we were able to form a committee within the Youth Association that will be able to recruit that specific number of individuals. So the committee was set up based upon the committee. We have 2 persons that was appointed from Success community. We have one right in Samanima who we call Archibald Blambo.
Okay.
From right in Samanima was appointed. We also have Bill Nene. So we did that in making sure that people from those separate communities are well represented.
And they see the interest of their own people as well.
Well represented, but the people we need should be the actual people that we told them. If we cannot have old folks, definitely your name will not be accepted.
Okay. You have to show the kind of old folks that you want to see.
Show.
All right.
We don't want to see elder person who can be able to run around, no, but somebody that cannot be able to afford. Imagine, like the leader said, we are giving out 50 bags of rice. 50 bags will be divided into 2, meaning you have 2 persons attached to a bag.
Okay.
We know we have 60 cups, sometimes maybe 59 cups or 58 cups. But our anticipation is we have 60 cups within the bag. So an individual will be carrying 30 cups each.
At least that can carry the person for the 26.
Imagine that.
So and Keto, just to add, right, if you get to NASCAP now, even this morning maybe, or many other lawmakers' homes, you see that our mothers, our old folks, they assemble there for 2 cups of rice for $100.
We see people carrying 5 cups of rice, 4 cups of rice. So if the friend of Magodo can give 30 cups of rice to eat Dokome, that is an laudable initiative that we can appreciate him for.
Certainly.
And we ought to do more.
And
our anticipation was about 100 bags, but unfortunately, like he said, this Mago Dotivity widows might. And individual who just works every time in making sure that his impact is committed. There can be no program in Do Committee that you call Mago Dotivity to help the young people in doesn't help.
Okay, thank you so much. He's Mr. Andrew Esketor, and we have 10 minutes to go on the program now this morning. You're listening to Straight from the Heart on Sky 107.1. Let's hear from you now briefly. You may not have trust in my generation, but I believe if you expressed that trust and you treat us with sincerity, give us the needed support, we can transform the society, get evidence of what is happening in Dole community. Let's hear from this person. Good morning.
Yeah, Anta, thank you for following your platform. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
This is the youth chairperson of the Predator Youth Association on the Bushel Island.
Go ahead.
Michael Gutomo.
Mr. Gutomo, it's a pleasure. Good morning.
Yeah. Recent day, the youth association, with no support from politicians of my association that are heading, are carrying on a massive campaign where communities are shared.
Guys, please increase the volume. Hold on a little bit, Mr. Gutomo, the volume of the speak up. So please. Yeah, go ahead.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so there's no support from politicians or support from friends of John Brown, friends of the Predator Youth Association carry on a massive campaign. Predator was the place where first my activation made. The attention goes on. My cultivation is very mean.
You very mean?
Honestly, I wrote cultivation, send it to an email. He received the communication. He did not respond to that communication. Marco Dosilation, word of Marco Bukumo. I sent communication. He refused to.
So have you communicated with Philip Tour? Because that's Philip Tour's original community as well. You know Philip Tour, right?
Yeah. For now, Mr. Tour is not there. Yeah. He is with a G. Station number 1. So he was with Alice 4. So I sent communication to Marco Dosilation. Marco Dosilation to tell that in fact they don't have money. Now what
is the point? Yeah, what is your point?
The point here is the facility is strict. That's the problem I get with him.
Okay, thank you. In this point, in this light, thanks for your contribution. Thank you so much for the contribution. We have to go. Yes, thank you, sir. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I sense the youthful exuberance in your voice and how you address it. Because you request someone's assistance and they didn't come readily, that does not automatically make them me. You see, this is life. You see, there's a word called serendipity. Check that up. It's about chance. If it was the person that it should favor at the time, it is God who controls serendipity. So, my brother, I understand your frustration, but anyway, not trying to put on defense for Mark here, but I don't think I'm having a thick show here this morning. I'm having a real show that real things are happening, and these are things that we are talking about. Let's hear from this person. Good morning.
Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Mr. Harris.
Yeah, and good morning to your studio guest.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, I want to thank you guys for coming this morning. Follow Margot Dote in the past. I know he's a man who stands for something. I follow his advocacy, and now he's standing to the humanitarian. I would like to applaud you guys and applaud Margot Dote listening. For Matthias, I have a question for the president in studio, the youth president. I would like to know what you're doing when it comes to the crime rate in the community. The second, I would ghettos, because I think those ghettos in the community are.
Next week, you're going to come by here to talk about your leadership. But let's hear from this other person. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, sir. Let's hear you.
Well, this is Mohammed Koliwa, and I call from Dole community.
Mr. Koliwa, this man who is the chief planner.
Yeah. Well, let me appreciate the chairperson, the friend of Margaret Davidson. I think and know their endeavor or their initiative is appreciative to the community. But I have a problem, and I will say it publicly. For the president of Sadoka, to be Secretary General of a politician. I think it's a conflict of interest, and he needs to rethink his decision. We all know Michael Davidson. He is a politician, and we know the dream behind the establishment of the Friend of Michael Davidson. And if, in fact, Michael Davidson's position on national government or issues in our country, it clearly shows the path for which Michael Davidson is driving us. So for him to form part of an institution, and as Secretary General, I think for me, welcome me as member of the community.
Okay, thank you,
Mr. President.
Thank you so much for your contribution, Mr. Koliwa. What's going to happen is that David E. Harris, you are a regular listener of this show. You will have to permit Mr. Keter to leave without answering your question, please, because of the discussion here. He's president. That's the reason why Mohammed is pulling his leg as well. And he's going to come back next week. Mohammed, please, next week when he comes back in studio, I'm going to have you on the line for a few minutes and you put all your questions to him. I think that's a good concern. Why is he a Secretary General? And that's why they want to change it to a humanitarian group instead of Friends Michael Davidson, which may appear as a political auxiliary group. Let's hear from this person. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
My name is
Please reduce the volume of your monitor.
My name is I'm calling you from Pakoya.
Let's hear you from Pakoya.
Yeah. Let me say you thank you for the discussion and also to Mr. Michael Davidson. My concern here is that I didn't hear the mention of my community, that is Pakoya, because we are talking about a Jesuit community. And Pakoya is a Jesuit community. I didn't hear anything about my community, that's one. And secondly, to Michael Gotomo, let me say this, I don't know, come from the political angle. Mr. Michael Davidson is a private citizen. Whatever he's doing in a private capacity. If you have personal issues, I think you shouldn't bring it to the public. You should address it. But if you arrest somebody and the person tells you that right now I don't have money, don't suffice that the person is me or the other one to do it. But because the person didn't have money at a particular time to do a particular request that you ask for. So I just hope that Mr. Michael Gotomo will take it.
And so I still have to pause there at this time. Yes, thanks to all of you who put through your calls on the program this morning. We have 3 minutes to go. Mr. Keter, you have 1 minute, if you like, because within the 1 minute, I'm not too sure you can be able to address all of the issues. But please, 1 minute. Let's close up with you.
Well, Matthias, thank you very much.
Let's drop to 45 seconds because the.
Let me say thank you to the Sky FM family for providing us this coding opportunity. And let me also appreciate Mohamed Kodwa and the other caller for that concern. Hoping that we'll appear next week in making sure that we respond to them. Very, very concerned.
Thank you
so
very
much. Much.
Thanks a lot. Let's hear you, Mr. Nimele, and the man who has gold dust in his hands and is taking it to the people on Sunday. Rice is actually a political commodity.
Sure.
So when you give it to somebody free of charge without asking them for anything in return, except for the future,
sure,
I think they will so much appreciate that. Let's hear you, sir.
So, Matthias, we'd like to say thank you again for the invite, and we hope to see you on Sunday. We listen to the course. We appreciate all of the comment and concerns raised by the callers, and we will try to work on it. Before I close that one,
is Pakoya part of it?
Pakoya, we will try to get to Pakoya. I didn't do committee for now.
Okay.
So we hope to see you there on Sunday, Matthias. The program will start by 30 at the proposed clinic, right to the turning point indoor community, around the 12-room building. So see you there, and we look forward for good working relationship. Thank you, one more.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming in. Beware of pedophiles in your community. Those men who get around describing your beautiful kids growing up and looking at their bodies and describing every part of their bodies, they end up sexually molesting the girls. Jake Brown is a man who is shooting a pedophile. Check that up. These people, they suffer from certain medical disorder that their sexual attraction only calls for children below 13 years old. And they are men, 13 years old, boys, girls, and so. So I'm leaving you this morning with this message. Those of you who are women advocates, that is Jake Brown's photo on the screen there again. You're looking at it. That man is a retired Marine, U.S. Marine. He works in the NSA. He knows a man who is a pedophile who has molested, believed to be below 10 years. but he's covering him up because this man has something on him. He